Hi, hope you're keeping safe and doing super well. If we've not met before, my name is James and I'm from Sydney, Australia. Today I wanted to talk to you about my favourite plant, the Monstera Thai Constellation, and give you a September 2021 update on how it's been growing. I started to notice some of my aerial roots fall out of my moss pole, so I wanted to give you some simple tips and tricks on how you can do some air layering with sphagnum moss. Remember, if you liked today's video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and tap that bell icon so you get notifications so you don't miss any updates when new videos drop. See you soon. So if you're new here, I first acquired the Monstera Thai Constellation in February 2021 this year. So it's been about 7 months since then. I'll give you a quick recap of how the past couple months have been growing, but as you can see at a high level, each leaf that has grown has become larger and larger. I am snipping off the lower level leaves, which are yellowing as it's progressing. However, that is a natural part of the life cycle. It is currently September, meaning that it is springtime here in Sydney, which I'm super excited about because it's the growing season. So hopefully there'll be some amazing growth that I have to report to you in the next couple of months. So since my last July 2021 update video, I've observed the following things in the past month. I've got this brand new leaf emerge, which is super exciting because it has been winter in the past couple of months and hasn't stopped the growth. However, this new leaf has no marbling in comparison to the previous leaf, but I don't mind so much because the speckling on this is amazing. The speckling here is true to Thai Constellation form and I've really been admiring as of late. I was super concerned at the beginning when it was first growing out because it was growing out very small, and I was worrying over the stupidest things because, you know, when you sort of care for something so much, you tend to overcomplicate and worry. Now, I'm not new to houseplants or anything, but because I cared for this one so much, I was literally talking to it every day saying, why won't you grow? What am I doing wrong? But I'm happy to report that it's grown out 37 centimeters in size, which is the same size as the previous leaf, which hopefully this trend continues onwards and upwards. So this is the first time it's ever happened to me, but 2 of the lower level leaves yellowed off this time. I normally only ever have 1 leaf yellow off at a time, but it's leading me to believe that the new growth is needing a lot more of energy and it's directing more of that energy to those new leaves. So anyway, I kept the 2 leaves aside here just to show and tell, but it has been decomposing on my table for a while, so I will bin this shortly after. But yeah, it was quite weird because I normally only have 1 leaf and this time I saw 2. And finally, what I thought was really cool was that I saw aerial roots produce more aerial roots, which really goes to show that these sphagnum moss poles really do work. So I thought this was a great opportunity to show you how to air layer using sphagnum moss, using my Monstera Thai Constellation as an example. Now, I've actually air layered this Syngonium fantasy over here using perlite, which has reaped some amazing results when it comes to additional root growth. So if you're looking to air layer in general, it's a yes. It's going to give you some amazing results and that will hopefully increase the foliage that you have on your plants. Now, what you're going to need is your sphagnum moss, of course. I've got a bowl full of water, which I'm going to use to moisten that sphagnum moss. I've got cling wrap, twine, scissors, and optional, you can use rooting hormone as well to speed up the process. Okay, so let's get started. First of all, grab your rooting hormone. I've actually put this into a bottle. It comes in a packet, which I had before, and just lightly dab this with my paintbrush. And then I've got a tray here just to catch the ends of that. You want to lightly dust the ends of your roots, just a bit. That should be enough. And we're going to be air layering 3 sections of this plant today. So I'll just dust that across those 3 and that should be enough. Cool. I thought the great analogy that I heard about using rooting hormone is why walk when you can drive? True? Think about it. Anyway, next I'm going to grab this cling wrap and I'm going to rip apart 3 different sections and make them into quite large squares. So, no trouble with that there. Cool. So then put that to the side. Next of all, you're going to grab your twine and then cut it into a couple of centimeters or inches. So So you're going to use that to wrap around that cling wrap later. So I'm going to cut 4 of these now. So that length should be more than enough. Once you're done, put that all to the side. All right, and we are going to work with the Sphagnum Moss now. So I've got a really massive packet because we had a shortage here in Sydney. This will last you for ages if you purchase the 500 gram bag, but yeah, purchase the 150 gram, that will do you for quite a long time. So a lot of this Sphagnum Moss is very compact, so this will go a long way. So grab a bit of that and then put it into your bowl. And this will expand as you pull it out. And then we're going to prepare our Sphagnum Moss. Cool. Going to tie this bag up again. To the side. Okay. And now we're going to work with our Sphagnum Moss. So just work your hands through the sphagnum inside your bowl. And then make that nice and wet. Once that's wet, you then actually want to wring it out. Rough guide, when you're wringing it out, it should not be dripping when you're starting to apply it to your plants. Cool. So I'm gonna grab half this. And then grab your cling wrap. And the technique to have this, the technique for air layering here is usually that you put the cling wrap in your palm of your hands and then you put the Sphagnum Moss on top. And actually I'll go with my left hand so I can show you on the camera. But then you want to wrap that around that root. And then encapsulate and encase that root, so. Now, grab your twine here and then tie the ends of that. This looks like a little money bag dumpling, if you know what that is. Oops, that's pulling out. So I'll make that a little bit tighter. But we want to encase that root with that Sphagnum Moss, so then it encourages more roots to grow out from there. So I'm just going to tidy this one up and snip the ends of that just to make it look tidier. But yeah, super easy. That's basically air layering. So I actually know this is already going to outgrow this Sphagnum Moss bag already, because basically these aerial roots can go quite long, but I'm okay with that. I just want to give it a little bit more of a kick, and eventually I can top up if I want later. Anyway, I'll quickly do the other two now. So you probably just saw that this one fell off, so make sure that you're tying it quite tightly so then the ends don't fall off.
One week later, as I expected, the aerial root has outgrown the moss wrap, but I was still pretty impressed that it managed to pierce through the other side. I ended up just redoing it and made the wrap much larger so that future roots had more room to grow in. Note, you'll want to seal it as tight as you can because the wrap is supposed to retain the moisture inside. Mine were too loose so that the moss ended up drying out super quick and I had to redo them all. Also, I was curious how the other wrap was going, so I unraveled it and found no growth. I wasn't too surprised though. It was already quite a mature aerial root from a few months back and it was only about a week, but I wrapped it back up after this anyway.
And that's pretty much it when it comes to air layering. Super simple, right? Hopefully this video was really useful for you. If you liked today's video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and tap that bell icon so you get notifications so you don't miss any updates when new videos drop. I'll see you in plant, bants and rants. Stay safe.
Welcome to Plant Rants and Bants, where I showcase some cool, funny, or interesting content that I find online. I randomly saw this Instagram reel created by From Sid to Plant, and thanks for letting me use this footage by the way, Sid, but I had never seen this before and thought it was super cool to share. It's a propagation bore, where you just fill in your pre-moistened sphagnum moss in, place your cuttings inside, and wait for it to grow. Awesome, right?